We Gathering is a year-long celebration of Barbados, Barbadian history, Barbadian culture, and actually it's also a time when we stop and reflect and look to see what are those things that made us who we are, that we can look back and get those values to take us forward.
Okay. Now, who is it designed for primarily?
Well, if you've just been born, it's for you. And if you're 150, it's for you. It's for everybody. And it's a time when we're going to be asking all Barbadians to play their part in making it a success. And when I say a success, what am I talking about? I'm talking about not just going out to the events and that sort of stuff, but also being able to get back to some of the basics. And when I talk about the basics, I'm talking about when we were young, a time where we shared with each other, when everybody in the neighborhood was auntie and uncle, and they had the right to speak to you and to correct you when you did bad things. Those are the types of things that we're hoping to get Barbadians to embrace again, because those are the things that brought us to where we are today.
Now, what's the motive and purpose behind We Gatherin?
All right, so if you talk about purpose, and I want to be very frank here when we talk about it, Barbados has changed a lot over the last 20 years. And we've been having a lot of problems, from gun violence to all sorts of other things. And I think this gives us an opportunity to pause, reflect, reset, and determine as a nation who we want to be. Do we want to be that zone of peace that you always hear people talk about within the region? Do we want to be those people who looked out for each other years ago, who made sure that if I didn't have sugar, you gave me sugar, and I gave you salt, or whatever it is. We bartered and we shared and we did those kind of things. And then you talk about business in terms of how we work with each other. You know, I always go back to many of us who live, especially in rural areas. Where we are today, we're responsible, or I should say, we owe a debt of gratitude to shopkeepers. Those were the people who would, as the old people say, trust that so you could get something to eat, you know? And these are the kind of values and the kind of things that we did that made us who we were back then. Cultural penetration is real, and a lot of things have changed over the years, but you always have to go back to your roots. What are the things that made you great, so to speak? And this is a time in We Gathering. So going back to church, you know, that was crucial and part and parcel of everybody growing up, where you're grounded in something. So it's all of that.
Okay.
It's business. It's bringing people from the diaspora home to reconnect with their roots. But really and truly, if I summed it up in one sentence, it would be bringing back community spirit.
And Barbadiana.
Exactly.
Now, talk us through the motorcade we're having tomorrow. Where will it start? Where is it going? And where will it end?
All right. So we're starting off in the car park of the National Cultural Foundation. And we're going to take the route which takes us to Botanical Gardens, where on each stop, we're going to be there for just about 15 to 20 minutes, because we're going to go island-wide, and we're going to be touching every single parish. So Botanical Gardens is going to be our first stop. Then we go over to Oistins in Christchurch, Kirtons in St. Philip, and we work our way into Pool Woods in St. John. Then we're going into St. George, then into St. Thomas, across to St. Andrew. Oh man, this is really
an excursion.
It's an excursion. It's like an old-time excursion. So along those routes, though, we're going to be making some stops, and on those stops, that's where we're going to be giving out some paraphernalia. We'll be talking to people about We Gathering. That's where they can get information on how can they get involved, because lots and lots of people have been calling and asking, how do we get involved? And so this gives us the opportunity as the Secretariat and persons working with us to meet the public and to share that information and really, get people totally consumed with 2025 being the year of We Gatherin.
Okay, and finally, what are the major expectations coming out when we've done all 11 parishes?
When we've done all 11 parishes, I think one of the major things that we're hoping to achieve is, one, community cohesiveness. Two, being able to have a better understanding of our diaspora. What are the skills that are in the diaspora that we can use in terms of national development? Again, bringing back that community spirit and getting Barbadians to go back to the time when they were philanthropic, where they could help each other and do things like that. But at the end of it all, it is really, in my mind, a chance for us to redefine who we are as a people.
And let's hope that everybody jumps on board and is a part of We Gatherin. I want to thank you so much for coming, and I wish the Secretariat well.
Thank you very much.